I was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, stage 1. And when I was told the treatment options, it wasn't looking good.
And DevX was finally becoming really a big thing. And if it was not for DevX and Roblox in general, I would not have been able to afford life-saving medication one particular harsh winter.
I think one, like, as a kid, like, one of the cool, like, my favorite, like, creators ever was...
I made, like, I don't know, maybe 10 outfits for Christmas.
Through that whole year, I had to really focus, and I wasn't...
Episode 10, the final episode of the season. We talked to Kind Creature. He's a moderator for the official Roblox Discord channel, a moderator for Robloxian High School, and he's a pretty well-known composer and audio engineer on Roblox. So can you give me a rundown of everything you've done on the Roblox platform, beginning from when you joined Roblox up until today?
Well, I actually made my first account all the way back in 2007. A friend of mine who actually moved off to the Philippines, he shared with me this cool game that he'd been playing. He was making his own like baseball stadium. It was really cool to see. I'd never seen anything like it, that he could just make all of this. So I asked him what it was. He goes, well, it's Roblox. We played for a couple of hours. Next day, made my first account. It's very interesting going from account to account because I was a very interesting little kid with a very interesting little mind that decided that he was going to believe absolutely every Robux scam that was out there. Went from that, kind of landed on this one account that I really like called Kind Creature. Kind Creature's provided me with a lot of opportunities that I didn't think I'd get to have. I only started like making music when I was younger. Didn't really start making music for other people until 14 or 15. Roblox, honestly, by itself has provided me with a very creative outlet. I like making something and knowing that's going to go and entertain somebody from all ages.
So let's talk about composing. Can you talk about what you specifically do on Roblox and maybe some collaborations and games you've worked on with?
I've made several songs for Evan Krakoff, Kraken Games. Made several songs with him. The biggest of which is probably RPG World. Oh gosh, that got like 70 million plays. It was pretty cool. It was like my first big game. It got front page for a while. Like it hit like #1 for like 3 days. And I was like, this is insane. Roblox tweeted about it. It was so exciting. That was actually like the first real success story on Roblox for me. Making music for a game that got 70 million plays. That by itself was so exciting.
When you say you make music, is it like background music? Is it theme music? What specifically?
Typically, I'll be making background music. I also make sounds for people. Animation sounds, action sounds. Like somebody shooting a laser, and I'll make the noise for it. Or somebody swinging a pickaxe, and I'll make the noise for it. It's a really interesting process of making the noise, but it's pretty fun.
And that brings up our first 2 audience questions for you. Emily asks, how did you learn to compose? So are you self-taught or did you go to school for it? And then the second part is from Confucius. What software and gear do you use to create your music and these sound effects?
First off, hi Emily. I've never actually gone to school for making music. Growing up, I took instrument lessons. So fun fact, I actually know 12 different instruments. That has definitely helped me make music, but I've not gone to school for it. It's all self-taught. And then the program that I use 2 different programs. Well, 2 different programs and a mobile app. I use Ableton and FL Studio. And then I also use a small little mobile app called Oxy, which is pretty cool.
And then this is actually a third audience question right off the bat. So it's from Hotshot Relic. So what are some of the typical challenges you may face when composing a song for a game? So kind of talk about the process from start to finish when creating a song.
Me personally, I've always started by making the percussion, the drums, the noises, the layers that you don't really hear, but wrap it all together. Typically going through I mean, dozens and dozens of sound packs. I mean, more often than not, I'm reviewing, several thousand sounds just to get the right sound. It's a long process. Once I finish with percussion and drums, I typically move on to what they call the bass melodies, the stuff that makes your stomach rumble, the very deep, very impactful noises. That part's a little boring, for being honest. Once you finish the bass, I go to the melodies, the synths, all the crazy stuff that you hear. That to just kind of mixing and mastering, making sure that what I have is a good product. I'll send over the full track to the person that's paying me. They'll make some edits. They'll be like, hey, I want this changed. I want this changed. I'll go back in and change it. And when the final product's released, I just post it on SoundCloud and give the commissioner the file.
What would you consider your greatest accomplishment as a creator on the Roblox platform?
If my account got suspended right now, yeah, I'd be sad, but it's not going to stop me from making music. If I never got a single commission from here on out, yeah, I'd be sad, but I'd still keep making music. The thing that is maybe the proudest is the fact that I've gotten to become acquainted with so many people, and so many people have decided to follow me for my content, especially on Roblox. A lot of people looking at me as an actual developer rather than just a guy who makes music. Just being able to call myself a developer is a really cool thing. I'll be honest with you, when I first started making music, I just thought of it as a fun way to make some music. I never thought that I could actually make something out of it, and, make money and make friends and make fans and interact with people and grow this base of people that enjoy me for my content and hopefully my personality. I hope so. Yeah, that's honestly the thing I've been proudest about is the relations that I've gotten to make.
For someone your age, I know you've been through quite a bit, especially as of recent. Could you walk us through what you faced recently and the roadblocks and challenges that they were to you?
I was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, stage 1. And when I was told the treatment options, it wasn't looking good. But we found a light at the end of the tunnel, and so I started taking, for lack of a better term, medical steroids, so I could, keep my hair and not have the long-term effects of chemo. But they did say that it would take longer, and it'd be more expensive too, because it was an experimental drug. But I'm still on that. I'm still thriving, trying to thrive, especially in this time of the pandemic. At the same time, as many people have noticed via the tweet that I put out, I've physically suffered from this pandemic, as well as emotionally and mentally, most definitely physically. I myself am still in disbelief as to how this year has gone for me. As hard as it gets, I still haven't been fully demotivated yet. Like I would have thought that the first thing would have demotivated me, like, dang, I got cancer. I just looked at it as fuel. I'm like, screw this, we're gonna go for it.
How did it feel to hear that diagnosis? You had cancer for the first time. What was going through your head?
I can't lie and say that I wasn't scared out of my mind. When I got the diagnosis, it was very terrifying because many of my family members on both sides are sort of prone to cancer. I've had 9 different family members die of cancer, 3 of which were colon cancer alone, and 3 of the other ones were lymphoma. Hearing that, hey, by the way, 3 of your family members died from what you have right now. In the moment, it was very terrifying. I was very scared. But again, I tweeted about it, and over 1,000 people went to the tweet and said, hey, keep your head up, we're here for you. And that by itself was really exciting. And it was really heartwarming to know that there was people that cared.
What I think is, inspirational out of that story is that you maintained a positive outlook. So your mindset wasn't, this is it for me, I'm just gonna stop. And that brings up an audience question from Mr. Scoops. What encouraged you to keep going?
I can date it back. The specific call that I had was with my mom around like 8 p.m. at night up at DPU. I was just quarantining before I had even gone to the hospital. I basically told my mom, like, Mom, I'm scared. All I'm hearing is how deadly this virus is and how awful it is and how it's infecting so many people. And I'm one of the early cases in America. Like, I'm gonna have to be the guinea pig of the cases. Like, I was beyond scared, and I remember her exact words to me was this: CJ, pain and suffering is temporary. You don't remember, people don't really recall specific moments where they were hurt. Yeah, you could probably date back to one where there was really a serious amount of pain. If you get a paper cut, you're probably not gonna remember that paper cut 2 years down the road. If you stub your toe, you're probably not gonna remember that 2 years down the road. Same thing with this is that, yeah, you might emotionally remember it, but that pain subsides. Physical pain subsides, but emotional success and an emotional triumph, that lasts. You remember the feeling. I thought about that, and it stood true for everything that I thought about in my life.
What's your mission on Roblox? What is the end goal for Kind Creature?
Provide quality music for quality people. I want to make sure that the gaming experience that you get on Roblox is immersive and genuine. I like me personally, like there's some people they'll take like samples of songs and they'll like include it in their track. I don't do that. I make everything from scratch. I start from the bottom to the top and I go from, okay, well this is what I need to do and this is where I need to finish. I don't stop until I reach that point. Like it's difficult in the short term race, but it's worthwhile in the long-term run. That honestly is my goal, is to provide that long-term experience for somebody. I don't want to just make a quick sound and leave. When I interact with a client, my goal is to become friends with them. I want to be able to talk to them and make friends and interact with them and show them, hey, like there's more to this than just me making music for you. Like I want to be your friend. I want to be able to talk to you when you need help, or like if you're feeling down, I want to be able to like text you on Snapchat and be like, hey, dude, this, what are you doing? Yeah.
What advice would you give to someone going through some similar challenges that you faced?
Always keep a positive mindset, because having a negative mindset, it's good for nothing. It demotivates you. It brings your heart down. It brings your drive down, and not just short term. If all you ever do is think in a negative mindset, the more you're in that mindset, the harder it is to get out of it. The sooner that you start trying to push for a more positive mindset and you stick on it, easier it will be to reach that mindset. Because I will always stand by the fact that a positive mindset is the biggest motivator. If you can go into something and think, okay, let's be optimistic. That's the success right there. Even if you don't feel like you've won, you've won.